So you as the instructor, you'd go back into your lesson, into your course, and let's say you want to see a report of what's happening and who viewed the lesson and who answered the questions and what the scores were and all that type of thing. So you go into the lesson itself, and then I don't want to go to the last page I saw. I want to go to the very beginning. And then you go and preview the lesson. You have these options here. You can preview it, basically see what the students see, edit the lesson, but here are a couple other options. There's the reports option, where you can see a report of all that the students did. It tells you how long they spent on the lesson and what score they got in that specific lesson. And it'll give you a listing of all the students in this course. Of course, at this point I have only a couple of students here and only one of them has taken it. Now the other thing that you can do here is you can view detailed statistics, and also you can go in and grade the essays. So to grade the essays, usually this has to be done manually, of course. You'll have a listing of all the students with all of these responses. Sometimes students may go more than once to take the lesson, and therefore you have to grade each one of them as well. So in our case here, we want to grade this. The easiest is to right-click on each essay and then click on Open Link in New Tab. Once you open it in New Tab, you'll view the response. So it says here, My Answer. And then you have a box here to put your comments, and also you have an option to grade this. If you remember, we gave it 15 points, so the highest points, it gives you a drop down of that number for this specific question. So you give it a score here, save changes, and then go back to your lesson. Now, after you grade those, you can also email all the students those graded essay questions, and they will get the feedback that you provided for them. So I strongly suggest you can email individual students directly from this link next to their item, or you can click on Email All Essays and it will email it to all of them. Now in this case, if we go here to Reports, if you noticed earlier, the score earlier, it was 33.33 because we had not graded yet the essay question. Now notice once we graded the essay question, they have a 50% score, and that score was automatically updated. Now those grades, they trickle down to the grade book. So if we go here to our test course and we go to the grades, now for this lesson, that will show up also in the grade book. So here it is, lesson 1, and that's the grade that this student received. So that's how lessons work. I hope it was clear enough to potentially make sense of it and try it and experiment with it. But it's a powerful feature that you can utilize more effectively for your courses. In this video, I'll demonstrate how to configure attendance in Moodle or e-learning. In each course, you need to create one instance of the attendance module, and the attendance module is an add-on module to the standard Moodle installation or the e-learning installation. So to create the attendance module, we first need to turn editing on in the course. So we click here on the gear icon, then click on Turn Editing On, and then typically you'd put the attendance somewhere at the very top of the course here. We click on Add an Activity or a Resource, and then we choose the option for attendance. Then click on Add, and you can leave the name the way it is, and for the description, you can put a description if you'd prefer. Now under the grade area, this is where you would specify whether you're going to penalize the students who are missing attendance or not penalizing them. So in this case, I'm going to leave it using points. So it's going to use points and then 100 points. Then here under the grade category, you could also choose what category you want to apply the attendance to, provided you have configured the grade book. Then scroll down and then simply click on Save and Return to the course. So far we just have configured an item here in the system called attendance. However, we have not defined yet as to what weeks and when the class meets and when to take attendance in this class. So to do that, we need to click here under Add Session, and then we specify the date when the class starts and date as well. So let's say the class starts on September 1st. Now here you can choose either the drop down here, these for each area. So September 1st, 2019, or you could have chosen this calendar option here as well. And then let's say the class starts at 9 a.m. Notice that these times here, they would be in the military time. And then let's say that the class ends at 10 a.m. in this case. And then here under description, this is where we want to put something to simply identify each instance for this class. And then under the next option here, it says create calendar event for this session. Basically, that's going to add it to the student calendar in e-learning or Moodle here. Now, if we simply leave it with these options and then come down here and press add, the system is going to create only one instance for September 1, 2019. However, you can also choose here multiple sessions, and you can choose to repeat the configuration that we defined here above. We can repeat it to a particular set criteria. So basically, we put a check mark in here under repeat this session, and we say that the class, for example, starts on every Monday, or this class takes place every Monday, every Wednesday, and Friday from 9 to 10 o'clock. And then you could state that you want to repeat this every week. That's provided, of course, your class typically meets weekly. And so basically you'd leave that there as number 1 every 1 week. And then we'd repeat this, let's say, until December 12th, 2019. And then further down here, you can choose to allow the students to record their own attendance as well if you'd prefer. If you need help with this, you could simply click on that option and learn more about that function. Then click on Add, and now notice that the sessions have been created for each time for that sequence of parameters that we defined earlier. So this would be from September 2nd, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, all the way till December 12th. Now, if for some reason, let's say it's Thanksgiving, or it's a time that you are not meeting with your students and such, in that case, you can simply go to that particular week and simply delete that particular instance. So let's say I want to delete this one for 11/25. Let's assume that's Thanksgiving here in that specific date, or Thanksgiving break. We can click here, find the specific date, and then simply choose to delete the session. Now, if for some reason you entered the wrong dates and all that type of stuff, it's probably easiest and best to simply go to the main course page, delete the activity completely, and then recreate the steps that I simply did so far. Now, under the attendance here, notice also that you have these additional controls here, so you can see all past attendance records, you can view it by month, by week, or by specific days as well. If you cannot locate something, just make sure you choose the All option here. Now, one other thing here is under the status set. This is where you can specify how you want to mark the students in the class. How do you mark them and what points you want to assign to them? So for example, for them to show up for class, they could get, if you can mark them as P for present, or that would be the definition for it basically, and L for late, and that would be 1 point, and then E would be for excused, and A would be for absent. You can change those to be a different type of acronym and a different description and different points as well. This comes in handy if you're grading this activity, if you're keeping track of the attendance and then impacting the student's grade. that's how you configure attendance in e-learning or in Moodle. Next, we're going to learn how to take attendance in a class in Moodle. In this session, I'll demonstrate how to take attendance in e-learning or Moodle, the Moodle learning management system. Earlier, I demonstrated how to configure the attendance in the course, and if you need help with that, please refer to the previous tutorial on configuring the attendance. Now I'm going to demonstrate how to actually take attendance in class. So typically you'd go to the course, and then you'd scroll down and find the attendance record. It's important to understand that you need only one of those records on the course page here. You don't need to create one for each week that the class meets, because you create that within this attendance record. You click on it, and then you find the day that you want to record the attendance for the students. So let's say we go here under the 4th of October, and you find that specific date, and then you click on this blue triangle here where it says Take Attendance. Once we click on Take Attendance here, then simply you basically be able to see a list of students here in your course, and then the easiest would be to simply press P here for present for all students. So you're marking everybody present, and then you call everybody's name in the class, and then you mark the ones that are either not present or excused and such. Now here you can also put notes. So if I mark this as excused, you could put notes in there, see email from 10/1. So basically these notes, these remarks would be for your own reference. And then simply press Save Attendance here. And now attendance has been taken for October 4th. So if we scroll down, the record where we have taken attendance here would be clickable. Notice the other ones you couldn't click on them unless you click on the blue triangle here, and you can either click on the actual record here to open it up and update something about the attendance in the class, or you could go to this green icon on the right hand side of that specific record, and you can change the attendance and update. For example, somebody who eventually showed up for class, you can go and mark them as present if necessary, and then press Save Changes. Now the students, of course, will be able to see their own records on their end when they sign into the system, as well as you here being able to see a report of all the users in this class. So if we go here under Report, and this is how you'd be able to see it, click on Report, you'd be able to see specifically for each student when they were present and when they didn't show up for class. Notice here that on 10/4 that I took the attendance here. This is how it will show up if everybody is present. If somebody is absent, they would have a score of 0 out of 2. And then they see the percentage in the very far right and such. So that's how you take attendance in the course, and that's how you update the records for the attendance in the e-learning system. In this brief video, I'll demonstrate how to create a Zoom activity, a live web conferencing session within your course in e-learning or Moodle. Now this also assumes that you have already configured and integrated Zoom into Moodle. In our case here at Cairn University, we have Zoom configured, and it's available for all courses in the learning management system. So to schedule and configure a Zoom activity, we simply need to go to that particular week or unit in the course. Then we click under Add an Activity or a Resource, and then simply scroll down and choose Zoom Meeting. Then click on Add, and then provide a name for this item. I'm going to keep the numbers in sequence there, so I'm going to name it 1.8 live web conference. It's also, if you're teaching online, it's important that you state also the time zone and such. And then under the description area, you might want to put details in there about this particular activity. So here you could state that a webcam is required and also a link for them to test the system beforehand. And this is the valid link to put in your course. And you can also hyperlink it as well. And provide additional directions. Now, if you want this to show up on the main course page, you simply put a check mark here, display description on the main course page, and that will be supplemented with those directions. Now, by default here, you technically could simply click and leave all these other options alone here, and simply click on Save and Return to the course. Now this means that you can start this meeting at any point and it's not tied to any dates or times. The students will join you based on the title on the top of your item that you created on the course. If you'd prefer to set a specific date and time, then you need to uncheck this recurring option and then put the correct date and time. And remember that you cannot test this until half an hour prior to the scheduled time. So make sure that those dates and times are correct here. The other option here as well is, notice that it's going to enable to join before the host. That means that the students can actually start this meeting before you are ready to join them and get in there. Typically, the system will also email you that your students are waiting for you, and it serves as a nice reminder in case you forgot to join the meeting. Now, once you're set with that, whether you're choosing the recurring option or the dates here, doesn't matter which one option you choose, and then you press Save and Return to the course. Then in this case, the students and you will start the meeting from here. So you'll need to advise the students that all these Zoom meetings will start from the course, and you and the students will click on it. You'll see the details. They'll be able to test the system if necessary, and then you as the owner of this meeting have the option to start it, and the students typically have the option to join. Their button here, it will be a blue button, it will say Join Meeting. Once you press Start Meeting, it will prompt you to launch your web camera and your microphone, and you'll be set. So it will look like this. You might need to click on Open Zoom Meetings, and that's in case you didn't have Zoom installed in your computer. It's going to prompt you to install it, to download and install a small piece of software, and you just install it just like any other item on your computer. Then you click on Open Meeting, and then you can choose here Join with Computer Audio, or you can use, and the students as well could join by using a phone call. So in case they have audio issues, they can dial any of these numbers and then put in this meeting ID, and they'll be able to listen to what's happening in the course using a regular phone. If we wanted to join here using a computer, they'll simply click here, Join using Computer Audio, and then you're up and running. Then you can control the microphone from here. You can start with a video, so make sure you're able to choose to start with a video from here. So you just click on it once, and then under Manage Participants, this is where you can see who has joined you in your meeting. Then when it comes time for you to, let's say you're interacting with the students, their cameras are on and you're interacting with them and such, then if you want to go over the lesson or something and share something from the course page, you simply, by the way, this toolbar, notice it disappears at times, so you simply move the mouse to the bottom and it will show up. At this point you can click on Share if you want to share your screen, and then you simply click on Share again, and then it's going to share whatever you have on the desktop. So whatever at this point you want to demonstrate to the students on your PC here or on your course, they'll be able to see it from their end. Now I'm going to go back, let's say, to the course here, and all of this, it'll be projected to their screens. Keep in mind, if you move the mouse to the very top of the screen here, notice there is also this Annotate Tool that you can utilize, and you can simply then highlight and underline things and go over things just like as if it were a whiteboard or a touch screen on your computer. So then move the mouse to the very top, and then those tools will show up again. When you're ready to stop the sharing, you can click here on Stop Share on the top, and that will stop the screen sharing with your students. By the way, the students can share the screens as well, so you can invite them to do their presentation or to share their screen the similar way. Notice that by default the meeting is going to be recorded, and you can control it from up here, the recording. It's best typically to let it record and then send and post the link to that recording the next day once you receive an email about it in your course, for other students that might have missed this live session. Keep in mind also that there is an option here for chat, and this is where you'll see any students that have questions. They might post the questions in there, and you can respond also to individual students or to everyone from the same area here. Once you're done with the meeting, to close it, you simply click here on End, and notice it's kind of hiding behind my screen here, but it's in the bottom right here, End Meeting, and then it'll prompt you to end the meeting for all. And at this point, after about, depending on how long your meeting was, anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour's time, you'll receive an email with a link to the recording. In this session, I'll demonstrate how to link two courses in e-learning and create a meta course. A meta course is when you have two courses, the second course is linked to the first one, and then the students from the second course, they show up on course 1, and also they show up in the gradebook. The benefit for it is the faculty maintaining only one of the courses instead of two. So here's how it's done. You basically go to the main course that you want to make as the primary. In this case, it's TSL 692, or we use the grad versions, typically making them the main one. So we go to the grad version of the course, then we go here under participants, then we go under the gear icon here, and then choose enrollment methods. Then we click here on add a method, and then click on course meta link, and then search for the course. In this case, the faculty has requested TSL 492 to be added to e-learning as the secondary course. So you can just simply type TSL 492, and this may take a while to come up. Make sure that it matches the semester, so you have fall 18. And then once you have made sure it's the proper course, and then the proper section as well, in some cases you might have section 01 and section 00, and 00 needs to be linked with the grad version of 00, and 01 may need to be linked to the 01 section of the grad version. So just pay attention to that, and then click on add method. And now at this point, that's all that you have to do to link the courses. So the students from the 492 section will have access to the grad version of it. At this point, advise the faculty that they need to post a note on the undergrad version or on the second course for the students to use the grad section of the course, or the main course, or the meta course in this case.